My name is Michael. I'll be taking you today through the Events and Volunteer Management webinar. Today, we'll be discussing quite a few things. I'm also joined here today by my co-host, Omar. Throughout the entire webinar, if you guys do have any questions, Omar here will be perusing through the Q&A section of Zoom as well as the chat, answering any questions that you guys may have. So if anything pops up during the webinar, please feel free to post it in that Q&A session or section, and Omar will be going through and taking care of those. Towards the end of the webinar, we will also be having a short Q&A session where Omar will be taking you guys through some of the more popular questions that we often get for these various different modules, and maybe even a handful of the questions that you guys are asking live today as well. And just as an additional note, this webinar is being recorded. So if you guys do have to jump out at any point during the webinar, or if you know someone that wanted to attend but they were unable to make it, unfortunately, we will be posting the recordings for these webinars at a later date so that you guys can feel free to review them whenever you get a chance. So with all of that said, let's take a look at some of the things that we will be talking about today. So we will be going through a couple of different things. Mainly, we'll be talking about how you can go through and create events and enabling online registration for your events through the use of the Event Planner module within Club Runner. We'll also be talking about how you can go about sending out invitations and general correspondence to the members of your club, and specifically those that have registered for your event. So if you need to send out any notes or general comments to these individuals, you'll definitely be able to do that as well. We'll also be going through how you guys can accept payments for your events and how you guys can keep track of all of those payments for your various different registrations. And then we'll also be touching the volunteer module today as well. So this is what will allow you to gather signups and registrations for volunteers to help you out on the days of your event. So if you guys need any additional support from some of the other members of your club, you can, or maybe even members of the public, you can create what's called a volunteer sign-up list, and you'll be able to gather registrations for volunteers specifically. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and jump right into our webinar. So the first thing that we're going to want to be doing today is we're going to go ahead and we can create our event. So I'm already logged in here to our club account. And then just as a note, in order to go through and create an event within Club Runner, you will need an access level of 60 or greater. So that if you are an editor, a club executive, the club president, or a site administrator, you should be able to go in and start creating events for your club. If for any reason that you do not have access to this, but you do think that you should be able to, I'd recommend reaching out to some of your other club executives who will be able to assist in upgrading your access level. And if there are any issues, you can also feel free to reach out to our support team, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction in regards to what needs to be done. So let's go ahead and access the events module as the first thing that we need to do. So there's a few ways that we can do this. One is in the top blue navigation bar up at the top of the page. You'll see we have a number of different tabs here that we can click on. So if you can see, I'm highlighting over the bulletin tab. We also have the attendance, new bulletin beta, contacts, membership. We have all of these different tabs. In order to create an event, we're going to want to go to the events tab. It's a little on the nose, but so we're going to go ahead and click on the events tab here. And then we can go ahead and click on the event planner option in the secondary navigation menu that's right below. So if we click on that, it'll bring us a page where we can see a list of all of the upcoming events for our club account. So here we go. As you can see, we already have an event listed here as the Fish Fry and Club Barbecue for May 27th and 28th. So you can see we already have one listed here. So this is what it would look like once your event has been created. And if we were to click on the event name or on this open action, it will allow us to take a look at the full details for this event. But in this case, we're simply going to go ahead and we're going to create a new event for our club's website. In order to do that, we're going to go ahead and click on the Create New Event button here in the top right corner. Let me actually zoom in just a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. So as I was saying, just go ahead and click on this Create a New Event button in the top right corner. And this will bring us to the Create New Event page. And this is where we can start entering in all of the details for our event. So the first things is we're going to enter in some of the very basic information for our event, which includes things like the name, the dates and times of the event, and a general description for it as well. So let's go ahead and enter in our event name. So let's just go ahead and type in Changeover Training Session 2022. It's my capital just to fit the rest of it. Next, we have the event code. This is a useful feature for those of you with the online payment and e-commerce module. This is a useful feature, and I know Omar's going to be going over this a little bit in his Q&A session. So we're going to go ahead and leave that alone for now. Next is we have our status option, which have the options of selecting between an active event or a draft event. Now, the way this works is that an active event will be able to be seen and displayed on your club's website almost instantly. So if your event is ready to be advertised to the public and the members of your club, you can go ahead and you can select the active status here. But if you are, if this event isn't quite ready to be put out to the members of the public, or you're just looking to continue working on it throughout a couple of days, and you're not going to be publishing it until say next week, for example, you can go ahead and you can leave it in the draft state. You'll always be able to come back into these event details and you can edit this to change the status to whichever one you would like at any point. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to leave it as the active status, because when we're done inputting all this information, we want it to be available right away. Next, we have the event type option. And this will allow you to select between a couple of different event types. And what this will do is it will allow you to organize your events into these various different event types. And then on your club calendar within your club burner website, it will allow you to color coordinate the events on the calendar itself. So say we leave it as general, it will be displayed as one color. On the calendar, if we were to change club event, it'll be displayed as another. So if you want to go through and make sure that these event types are set up to the specific event that you are looking to, or that you are hosting, just to help keep everything a little bit organized. But other than that, it's not too important. So next, we're going to scroll down just a little bit further, and we have the start date and time fields, as well as the end date and time fields. This is where we're going to select the actual date of the event that we are hosting. So if your event, so say you want to be able to have your event over the course of several days or just a singular day, this is where you'll be able to enter in that information. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and enter in the start and end date for our event here. And what we can do is by clicking on this little calendar icon, it'll give us a little calendar preview, and we can move back and forth through the various different months by clicking on these little black triangles or arrows to the left and right. Or if we click on the heading here up at the top, so right now it says April 2022. If we click on that, it'll allow us to quickly select a specific month. And then if we click on the heading one more time, it'll allow us to quickly select the year for the event as well. So if you need to quickly move to another year or another month that are a couple down the line, instead of clicking repeatedly on those little black arrows, you can go ahead and you can use this method to quickly select those individual parameters. So let's go ahead and select the 2022 year. And this will bring us down a view to select the month that we want to host it in. So let's go ahead and select May for this. And then from there, we can select the individual date. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select a date of Friday, May 20th. And as you can see, once we enter that, it'll automatically fill out the end date as well. But you can change this to another date that you would like. So in this case, our event is to be going on throughout the entire weekend. So we can go ahead and click on the calendar item for the end date and time option. And from there, we can then select the date that we want it to end on. So we're going to go ahead and select the 22nd as well. So the way we have it set up currently, the event will take place from May 20th, 2022, all the way to May 22nd, 2022, at the end of that weekend. Now, you might have noticed that there are some additional fields to the right of these two date columns. And this is where we can enter in the times for our event. So say instead of your event being an all-day item, you can go ahead and you can enter in the specific times I want it starts and when it ends. So for our start date, we're going to go ahead and we're going to enter in a time for that. If you want to enter in the current time, hover your mouse cursor over these little arrows here and click on the gray box. And that'll automatically enter in the current time for your current local time. So currently where I'm located, it is 1:12 p.m. And so that's what will be automatically entered when we click on that square, that little square that's there. If we want to adjust this any further, we can go ahead and use the arrows around that square box to adjust it accordingly. So you can see that we have the hour field of our time selected. So we can go ahead and click on the up and the down arrows to adjust this how we'd like it. So let's go ahead and set this to 7:30 p.m. For our local time. So we can click the left and right arrows to move over to the next section. And now we can adjust the individual minutes section for the time. And if we move over one more time, we can select this is in the morning or in the afternoon via AM or PM. So we're going to leave that as 7:30 p.m. now. And then, so now our event is going to be starting at May 20th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. And then we can do the same thing for the end date as well. We can input the current time, and then we can also enter in, and we can adjust this accordingly. So let's change this to 5 p.m. So now that we have this set up, our event will be running from May 20th from 7:30 p.m. all the way till May 22nd at 5 p.m. So we've just gone ahead and we've set the times for our event. Now we can go through and we can add in some additional information about the event that we want to share with our members. So for example, we can go ahead and enter in just whatever information we like. You have access to all of the general text formatting options. So you can change the heading style, you can change which font is being used, the font size, you can bold, italicize, underline, strike through, subscripts, superscripts, all of these basic options, they're all available for you here. So you can go ahead and use these to enter in and format your details however you would like. But just for the sake of the example, let's go ahead and enter in some basic information. So this is going to be the Bulletin Live Designer changeover training. Well, I shouldn't say bulletin. We're doing the event events and volunteers webinar. My apologies. So we're going to have events and volunteers changeover training. I'm going to go ahead and make that bold. And we can enter in the time that we've had. So let's say, I know these dates are different from from today actually, but we can go ahead and we can enter this information as well. And let's just copy this and paste that over here to 5 p.m. And let's say this is Eastern time. Let me copy over a little bit more information here. This is some basic information that we have for this event. And then we can go ahead and do things like this, where we can format it and we can set up like bulleted line items for our event really quickly. And of course, we can also highlight everything and we can choose to center it however we would like or align it. All of these basic options are available for you to use. Now, if we scroll down just a little bit, we can choose whether we want to enable registration right away. So if we want to allow registrations immediately, go ahead and select the yes option. And this will allow us to adjust all of the registration options as soon as we're done entering in all of our event details. Or if you want to leave that for a little bit later on and you want to not allow registrations right away, you can select the no option. In this case, we're going to go ahead and enable registration now. And then as we scroll down, we can start to enter in some more basic information about the event. So if we want, you can go ahead and add an image for your event. By clicking on this Browse Image button, you will be able to go through and open up your the file explorer for your computer, for your own computer. And you can go through and you can select an image that you've stored on your own computer as kind of as like a logo for your event. And then as we scroll down a little bit further, you can select an event chair for your event as well. So currently it's set to the individual that is creating the event itself. But if you're setting everything up on behalf of someone and they are the one who will be taking care of everything moving forward, you can go ahead and you can select the individual member from this list as well. And then you can also choose to enter in a custom email address. So this will automatically be pulled from the event chair's profile. But if for any reason you need to go ahead and change this, you can change it here as well. You can choose to enter in a phone number for the individual too. So let's go ahead and enter one really quickly. 0. So we've entered in a quick phone number. And after that, we can now enter in the specific details for our event. So let's go ahead and enter in the location and address for where this event is occurring. So let's just say it's occurring at the Club Runner offices, and we can go ahead and enter in some details. So I'll quickly run through this. Our offices are located in Canada, Ontario. And then finally, we have the option to include the latitude and longitude for our event. By entering in the address here, there will be an event or a map displayed for your event. If you choose to enter in the latitude and longitude, you'll be able to override the automatic map that's displayed, and you'll be able to set a specific point for your event. But unfortunately, we're not going to go over that today. Just know that that is a feature that is available for you to use. So from there, we can now select a couple of different display options for our event. And it allows us to customize exactly where we want our event to be advertised. So we have show event and homepage. So this will determine whether or not the event will be able to be displayed within the upcoming events widget that you can place on your homepage. It's important to note that if you don't have that upcoming events widget display or already added to your homepage, changing this won't actually affect anything on the homepage itself. This will only change whether or not it will be able to be displayed within that widget if it's already on your website. If not, then you don't really have to worry about this. The show event and calendar does exactly what it says. On your club's event calendar, this will determine whether or not will appear there or not. The same thing for the show events list. This determines whether it is displayed on the upcoming events list, on the upcoming events list page, I should say. And as we can scroll down, we have a couple of more options. So we can choose whether we want to show these events in our club bulletin. We want to select if we can display a social media share bar for our event as well. We can also choose, which is a really nice feature, you can choose to advertise your event on your district's calendar. So provided that your district is subscribed to Club Runner and they have their own Club Runner website, you can actually go ahead and you can send the events that you guys create on your club level account over to the district's calendar to be displayed and advertised for the district and all of the other clubs that are within the district, and when they go and take a look at the district's calendar. And then as I was saying before, you can choose to show a map for your event. And this is based off of the address that we entered above, or if you've entered the latitude and longitude for your location, it will use this as well. So we've gone ahead and we've selected all the basic details for our event. So we can go ahead and click on this save button right at the bottom. And since we did have the options to enable event registrations right away, we can now go ahead and we can enter in those specific details. So the first is the open this event for registration. As you can see, it's been checked. So it means that once we save these registration options, the registration will now be available. If you've changed your mind and you don't want the event open for registrations quite yet, you can go ahead and check this box and no one will be able to go through and actually register for the event quite yet. Now, we can also now choose to enter in a date range for the period of time that we want to accept registrations for this event. So this isn't the actual dates of the event itself. Rather, these are the dates leading up to the event where people can go through and they can register for the event itself. So as you can see here, by default, it's entered in today's date up until the day before the day of the event. But you can go ahead and change this as well. So right now it's set from May 17th at 12 a.m. to May 20th, right up until 7:30 p.m., which is when our event starts. But let's go ahead and create, let's increase this registration date just a little bit. Though granted, we are going to be adding it into the past, so no one's actually going to be able to register on those days. But just for the sake of the example, you can choose to set these to just about any date you would like. Next, is there a fee to attend this event? Right now, it is currently set to a free event, but we'll go ahead and we'll be able to adjust this a little bit later on when we select our payment settings. So we can feel free to ignore this for the moment. Next, we have some additional registration options. So we can allow public registrations by checking this box here so that members of the public will also be able to register for the event rather than just members of your club. You can also choose to allow members to register guests for the event as well. And then here are some additional, how should I say, clerical options for the event. Whenever an individual registers for the event, you can choose to have the event chair that we selected earlier to be copied on those registration emails for either confirmation to let them know that someone's registered, or you can make it easy for people to reach out to the event chair. Next, you can also choose to enable comments on the registration page. So if anyone has any feedback they want to leave or anything like that, or questions, you can enable comments here. And then finally, we have the custom email message. And what this will allow you to do is that you can go through and you can enter in a custom email message here into this big text field or this big text box that you can start to type things in here. And whenever an individual registers for the event, this custom email message will be sent along with that registration. So if you want to share any information with your registrants at the time of their registration, I recommend adding that extra information in here. Say if there is a specific place that they have to go to at the location of the event, in order to get in, like a specific entrance. You can choose to enter that information there. If you want to include any contact information for people to reach out to in case they have any questions or issues with their registration, you can include all of that information within this custom email message. So let's go ahead and enable for now, and we can go ahead and enter in some basic information. So, for help, please reach out to support@clubrunner.ca. So now, whenever someone registers for this event, this text will be sent along with their registration and included in their email so that they'll be able to take a look at this and make sure that this information has been sent over to them. So we've gone ahead and finished setting all of our registration options. So let's go ahead and click on the Save button in the bottom right corner to finalize all of these changes. And as we scroll down, we can now see we have all of our event details set up in the top gray bar that's here. We have registration that has been enabled. So people can go through and they can start registering for the event. But we haven't actually gone through and set a price for our registration yet. So individuals are actually able to go through and they can just register for free right now. So we want to go ahead and we want to set a price for our event. If we scroll down just a little bit to the bottom of the page, you'll come across the payment settings option here. And this is where we can set all of the information for regarding like a registration fee, for example. So let's go ahead and click on this change payment settings button here. And if we scroll down, we'll be able to start entering in this specific information. So we want to set an event fee for our event. So let's go ahead and say, in order to register for this event, there is a fee of $20. And then you can go ahead and select the individual currency for your club. Club Runner is currently located in Canada, so we're going to go ahead and select the Canadian dollar. But you have access to all of these various different currencies as well. Now, you will also have access to this payment method option. For the most part, you guys will only see the no payment account specified option here listed. However, if your club has enabled the online payment and e-commerce module within Club Runner, which allows the club to start taking credit card payments online for club dues, donations, and event registrations, you'll be able to go through and select your connected payment account profile in order to allow individual members to go through and register for these events and submit their payment using credit card. Without this feature, all of your registrations will have to be, or payments will have to be taken offline, whether this be by check or cash, or some other method that your club might use, like e-transfers, for example. That's another popular one. So let's go ahead and let's just select one of these payment methods for now. And we can also go ahead and select some additional options here. So we can require members to pay to complete the registration. So if you only want their registration to be confirmed after they've submitted payment, you can go ahead and select the yes option. But if you are using off payments, I would recommend leaving this as no, just for the sake of consistency, because they'll be able to register for the event. But if this is set to yes, they won't actually be able to confirm their registration without submitting payment in that case, since this does determine whether or not they can actually save their registration without that payment. So you are using the online payment module and accepting credit payments. You can feel free to use this yes option, but I generally recommend if you are accepting offline payments, whether it be check, e-transfer, or in cash, you leave this as no so that people can complete their registration and then submit their payment later on. And then if you also want to allow people to submit payment by check, you can go ahead and you can select yes here, and you'll be able to provide additional information about your check. So For example, it says here, please make checks payable to, and then you can enter in the information for your club. So let's just say club runner support here. Oh, sorry. Payable to club runner support. And then you can have these enter in an address for where your check should be sent. So you can enter in those details here. If you want to customize this message however you would like, you can definitely do that as well. Now, once we're happy with these payment options, let's go ahead and click on the Save button. So there we go. We've gone ahead and we've set up our event. We have all of our event details set up. We've gone ahead, we've enabled registrations, and we've gone ahead and we've entered in some payment details for our event. Now, so in this case, we've gone ahead and got this all set up, but we don't have any registrations yet. So one of the things I recommend that your club does, once all of your settings have been configured, is that you go through and you send out an event invitation. What an event invitation will do, it will allow you to really quickly and easily send out an email with links to register for your event directly to your club members really quickly and really easily. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the page where we are, you'll see the emails section that's listed here, and you'll see two options. Two button options here. You'll see new invitation and new email. Let's go ahead and click on the new invitation option here to get started. This will bring us to the email composition page. If you guys are familiar with sending out emails within Club Runner in general, this will seem very, very similar to or familiar to you. But just as a recap, on the left-hand side, you'll see step 1. This is where we can go ahead and we can select the recipients of our email. So let's go ahead and select some of these individual members. We have access to the by status recipient list. Then we can also send our emails to active and honorary members, other users, inactive members. Since we are a site administrator on this account, we can also reach out to our club executives and stuff like that. Any custom distribution lists that we have in contact groups as well. Generally, I only really recommend using this by status option here. What this will do is if we expand it just a little bit, you can see that it's been broken down into a couple of different options. So we have active and other members that are undecided. And we also have active members and other members that are uninvited. So what this will do is it will allow us to really quickly get an idea of which members have already been invited to the event. So that way, if we are sending events out in the future, you'll be able to take a look at and see exactly which members have already been invited. So that way you aren't re-inviting them to the event, whether they've declined it or they've already accepted it. You won't be able to, or you won't be sending them a duplicate email for something that they don't need. So let's go ahead and invite all of our active members and our other members as well. So we've selected these checkboxes. If you want to see exactly who is included within these lists, you can go ahead and click on the expand link here, and that will give you a breakdown of everyone that is listed within that recipient list. And you can also customize this a little by checking the boxes of the individual members that you want this to be sent to. But we're going to go ahead and leave them all checked for now. So we can go ahead and click done. And now let's go ahead and actually compose our email. So we can do that under step 2. So we can go through and we can enter in the subject line for our name here. So by default, the system email template that's used is going to be the event invitation for event name. Now you might be seeing this a little event name text here, and you might be a little bit confused as to what this is. Why not just enter in the name of the event itself? What are these dollar signs, and why is this all in capital letters? Now, if you see anything that is formatted in this way, or it has the $2 signs on either end, and then it has a bit of text in between it, just like its event name text here, this is what's called a mail merge field. If you guys do use the regular communications module within Club Runner, you might be familiar with these as well. But what these allow you to do is it will allow you to customize your emails on an individual member or event basis. So in this case, we have the system, the system template that's automatically generated for us. So if we were to send out this email, this mail merge field will automatically be replaced by the name of the event that we are sending out this invitation for. So instead of having to manually type in that the name of the event here, you can use these mail merge fields to fix that. And if we scroll down just a little bit, you can see some more applications of these with the actual body of our email. So you can see here we have the text hi, nickname, and last name. So instead of having to individually send out emails to each member, where you have to change the name that's listed here, you can input these mail merge fields instead, and these will automatically be replaced with the information of the individual that it is being sent to. So if we go back to our active members list page, the mail merge fields will be replaced by the first and last names of each individual member, so that each email is customized to that member specifically. If you want to add, or if you want to take a look at what mail merge fields are available for you to use, you can go ahead and, let me create a new line here just to keep it separated. You can go ahead and use the various different drop-down menus in this gray box right above the body of our email. So we can select the recipient mail merge fields. So these are all related to the information of the individual that is going to be receiving the email. And if we just click on it, and we select which one we want to use, it'll automatically add it into the body of our email. And if we want to add some more, we can go ahead and continue to click on the add button. We can also choose to select some information regarding the individual that is sending the email. So we can go ahead and put in the sender first name and last name. And when this email is sent out, it'll display the name John Valentine here, since John is the one that is sending out these emails. Next, we have the account mail merge fields. So this has to do specifically with the club itself. So you can choose to send out the account full name, which would be your club name. You can choose a mail merge field to include your club logo, as well as like your club's address and basic mailing information. And then finally, we have a specific one for event planner, which is where we can add mail merge fields regarding the event itself. So you have the event name, the event contact, start times, end dates, locations, fees, registration links as well you can include. So these are all options that are available for you to use. So let's go ahead and clear this out a little bit. And just like any the regular email communication, the regular email forms, you can customize this however you would like. But there is a default template that you can use that will be displayed that will just be displayed for you to use, and you can customize this however you'd like. Next, if we scroll down a little bit, we can choose to add some attachments to our email. So we can click on the select files for upload button, and we can select a file from our computer to include within this email. Then we can choose some additional email options. So we can choose to include a link, which will display a list of the recipients that this email was sent to. So this will be advertised to everyone that the email is sent to. They'll all have access to this link. And then you can also choose to have yourself copied on the email as well. So let's go ahead and select that option. And then finally, we can step 5, which is where we can actually send out the email itself. So we can either choose to send the email right now or immediately. And then we can also choose to schedule it for a later date. So if we want to prep this email today, but we don't want it to go out until the day before the event, for example, you can use this calendar option to go through and select which specific date and the specific time that you want these emails to be sent out at. But in this case, let's just go ahead and click send right now. And from there, we can go ahead and click on the send button to send this out to our membership. If you want to send out a test email to yourself first before you send it out to everyone, you can use this send to myself button here instead. And then if you want to save the email for now and you can come back to revisit it and send it out at a later time, you can save it as a draft. But in this case, let's go ahead and just send it out to our membership. So I'm going to go ahead and click send here. You'll get a nice confirmation message. So it's asking if we want to send this email to the 20 people that we have selected. Yes, we do. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And now the system will go through, process our email, and have it sent out to our membership. Now, if we were to scroll back down to the page, you can see that we have our invitation for Changeover Training Session 2022, and it is currently sending and is in progress. So the system is processing this, and it is working to have these emails sent out to your recipients. Now, we also have the option to send a regular email. So let's go ahead and go through that really quickly, though it is very similar to the invitation. So if we click new email, it'll bring us to a very, very similar page where we also have access to this by status category of the recipients. But what's different about this one is that we can now, instead of choosing the uninvited or the undecided, we can now choose between active and other members that are undecided. So these are people that have been invited to the event, but they haven't made up their mind quite yet. But then you can also choose to send out emails to individuals that have declined your invitation or have registered for the event. So if you need to reach out to some of these individuals later on, I do recommend using the send email option instead. And then this works exactly the same as it did for the invitation. You can select your recipients, you can enter in your email subject and message, add in the attachments, choose your options, and then you can schedule these as well. But since this does work very much the same, so in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and click back to event details. But since if you know one, you generally know the other. They work very, very, very similarly. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back to our event details. So we've invited our members to our club. Now let's talk about how you can actually go through and register. Now, when these event emails or invitations are sent out, individuals will receive a link to where they can go through and they can register themselves for the event. If we go ahead and click on this view registration form option here, this is exactly what they'll see. They'll be asked to log in, and they will be brought to this registration form here. So you can choose to register your stuff. And then you can also choose to register any additional guests, since we did allow that option. To register, all they have to do is go ahead and click on Register Me. Their information will automatically be filled out, but they can choose to customize this if they would like. And then they can go ahead and click on the confirm option to confirm their registration. And once that's done, you'll see you are currently registered for this event. Your confirmation number is blah, 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 blah. If you want to include any guests as well, you can click the register additional guests option. And we can go ahead and enter in the information for our guest. So let's just go say Peter Parker here. We can enter in their email address and a phone number if you would like. Then finally, you will want to select the consent box to confirm that this individual has provided consent for the information to be collected and stored for the purposes of this event registration. And then once all of that's set, you just go ahead and click Save. So now if we scroll down to the very bottom, you'll see the option for our payments. So to see the payment options for the event, click on the button below to proceed. You can still cancel at the next step. And then it will also show you the total amount owing for your registration. So as the registration for our event is $20, we have registered ourselves as well as our guest Peter Parker here for a total of $40 for our registration. So we can go ahead and proceed with payment. And this is where we can enter in some specific information for the event. Now, since we are a site administrator, we do have access to this payment history page, but a regular member of the club who's registering, they won't be able to see this page. They won't be able to see this here. They will only have access to this bottom option that's here, which is pay by check. And if we click on that, it'll give them the details that we provided before as to where they can send the check and who to make it payable to. Now, once they have submit their check, they'll be able, the club chair or site administrator will be able to go in and they can manually record their payments. If your club does have the online payment module and allows credit card payments for your events, they, instead of seeing this pay by check option, they will also see a pay online option where after clicking on that, they'll be brought to a page where they can enter in their card details and submit their payment. When done that way, the payment history or the payment record will automatically be updated and posted to the payment history. But if these are offline payments or you're not using that credit card or that credit card option, you'll have to record these payments manually. So let's actually go ahead and go back to the event details page, just so that I can show you how you can go through and record these payments for your members. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click register members under this register heading here. And this will give us a big list of the individuals that are a part of our club. So from here, we can either choose to register these members. So say you're doing this on behalf of a member, you can go ahead and register for them. So let's register Sue here. We're going to go ahead and click on the register link. And it asks, are you sure you want to mark this member as attending? Yes, we do. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And as you can see that they now have a balance owing of $20. We can also choose to add any guests as well, just like we did for our own registration. But in this case, it's just Sue attending. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to record their payment here. So all we got to do is click on this pay option next to the balance owing. And if we scroll down just a little bit, you'll have access to that payment section that we saw earlier, where we can go ahead and click on the record payment button. And from there, we can enter in the details regarding their payment. So they have a balance of $20. We can select the payment type here. So whether they paid by check, paid by cash, or if you're offering a refund, you can enter that as well. So Sue here paid by check and they paid the full amount of $20. So we can enter that and we can go ahead and enter in some additional comments. Let's just enter check number 1337. So we've, and we'll receive, let's also enter and received on May 17th, 2022. So we've entered in those details and we can now go ahead and click save. So you can see your payment has been saved. Thank you. And now we can see that the payment history, the payment history has now been updated to display that record of payment. So now let's go ahead and go back to our event details here. We've talked about how you can register yourself. We've talked about how you can register your own members. And now you can also choose to register individuals from other clubs or non-members of your club, so members of the public. It works very similarly. If we go ahead and go click register non-members, we can go through and we can register a guest for our event, just clicking register additional guests here. And we can go through and we can enter in their information just like we did before for a member's guest registration as well. So we could say Lois Lane here. Done that. We can select their consent option here, then click save. And then just like before, you can record their payment history by clicking on this pay option and going through and entering the details as we just did before. So there is one more thing that I would like to show you guys for our event. Ooh, I went a little bit too far back. Let me open that up. And that's how you can go through and how you can allow people to register to volunteer to assist with your event. So say you need a handful of volunteers to help, say, run food stalls, or like the ingress table where you can see that everyone is arriving, they can mark down their attendance, stuff like that. You can go through and you can create what's called a volunteer sign-up list for your event. So we'll go ahead and do that. So if we scroll down just a little bit, we will come to find this volunteers section here. And it'll say, click on the create sign up list button to add a volunteer sign up list for this event. If you want any details on how you can, about the volunteers module, you can click here to access those details. But for now, let's go ahead and click on that create sign up list button. This will bring us to a new page where we can start creating our sign up list. So let's go ahead and enter in some basic details. So I'll go ahead and say changeover training session, volunteers. We can enter in a start date and time. So we entered in from the 20th to the 22nd. So we can enter in those details here. If we want to allow members of the public, we can select this, is this list open to the public option? No, we only really want members of our club to be registered here. Now, note that some of these options will be limited to you if you do not have access to the enhanced volunteers module, which is an additional add-on that you can purchase for your club. So some of these options you might not see, or you might not be able to select. And we'll go over exactly what the differences are between the two versions in just a little bit. Next, we can choose to link it with an event. With the basic version, you will have to link the event to link the sign up list to an event. But if you do have the advanced version, you can also choose to create a standalone sign up list that isn't related to a specific event. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to select the event that we've just created, the Changeover Training Session 2022. We can select the sign up list chair, and we can also choose whether we want to email the chair whenever a new registration registration for volunteer sign up list has been done. So we can go ahead and do that. Now we can go ahead and select the task defaults. And these tasks are essentially what you can go through, and you can set what individuals will be signing up to do. So say, for example, we have the task name here, and this will be the individual information for our sign up list. So you can have them sign up for a individual shift, some positions and different time slots. You can also create a number of different groups for your tasks, as well as the number of tasks per group and the number of people per tasks. So the way that I like to think of this is that you will have a group of people for a period of time, for like a shift or like a time slot for during the event. And each group can contain an individual number of people. Each group has an individual number of tasks within that group that group needs to get completed throughout that period that they've signed up for. And then you can also have a individual number of people per task. So you can change this information based on how you want it. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have 2 shifts for our event. And we're going to have 4 tasks per group, and then we're only going to have 1 individual per task. So we can go ahead and set the number of groups to 2. We can set 4 tasks per group, And then you can also have the number of people per task. So you can change this however you would like. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at 1 for now. Now you can also choose whether your tasks have a start or a start time, which you can do this as well. So you can go ahead and select the date that you want these tasks to start on. You can enter in the time that we want them to start. So let's go ahead and say 7 p.m., half an hour before our event starts. And then it'll end at about 9:30 once the event for that day has concluded. So now you can choose whether you want to increment the tasks. So if you want them to be adjusted every so often for every period, you go ahead and select this here as well. So we can select, no, we don't want to increment the tasks. So if we want these to remain the same every day, you can change this. If you want to increment the task by 1 day, so every task is on a different day, you can select that as well. And then you can also increment the tasks by a couple of hours or minutes, for example. So let's go ahead and say every task is 2 hours, and then you'll shift between the next group. So we can go ahead and enter that here. And then we can go ahead and finish everything. So we can create our sign up list down at the bottom right. And this will take all this information that we've entered, it will process all of it, and it will create our tasks. So let's say, for example, here, we have our group, and we have each individual shift that we've created. So we have shift 1 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., shift 2 from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., shift 3 from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., shift 4 from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Now, I didn't input the times quite right in this case, so it's looking a little bit off. Oh, looks like my mouse has died. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, as I was saying, I didn't input the times quite right, so it's not quite adding up to the times of our events, but you can go through and you can adjust this pretty much however you like. So if we want to customize this a little further, we can go ahead and click on the edit action for one of our shifts that are available here, and we can adjust the specific start and end times and the dates for that shift or that task. And then we can also choose to add additional groups using this add group button. And then you can also choose to add additional tasks to those groups as well. So you can go through and you can customize things pretty much exactly how you want it to be laid out for your sign up list. We can also go ahead and we can manage the volunteers for our task as well by going and clicking on the manage volunteers option in the left-hand side. And this is where we can go through and we can go through and we can manually sign people up for these tasks. So say they've registered they've already expressed interest that they wanted to volunteer for the event beforehand. So you can go through and you can manually record them as in here. So let's go ahead and do that really quickly. Oh, I did that a little bit quickly. So in order to do this, we're going to go ahead and click on the sign up link or button here for the individual shift or the individual task that we're registering the member for. And then we can choose to select where we want this information to come from. So if this is a member of our club, we can go ahead and we can select them here as well. And their information will automatically be pulled from their club runner profile. You can also choose not a member, which will allow you to enter in the information of a member of the public, however you would like. So you can say, let's say Kyle Irving, he wants to register. You can go through and enter in their information just with all this basic fields that you have access to. And then you can also choose to register yourself, which will automatically pull your own profile information from your club runner profile. So let's go ahead and click save to register John Valentine here. And you can now see that John Valentine is booked for shift 1 on May 20th, 2022 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And you'll see that it is now highlighted in green to indicate that all positions for that task have now been booked. And then I did want to show you guys one more thing just to confirm how the event page itself will actually look like when people are going through and registering for these events and the volunteer sign up lists. So let me go ahead and I can pull that up for us really quickly, and just bear with me for one moment. And there we go. So I've gone ahead and I've changed over to this page here. And this is exactly what the actual like event information page will look like on your website. So you can go through and members of the club, they'll be able to come to this page. They can click on this members option that's listed here. So let's go ahead and click on that. And this will bring us to this register me page that we saw earlier for members of the club to register for the event with. You can also register guests as well. So let's click on that to take a look at what that might look like. Actually, sorry, in this case, it looks like we have public registrations disabled, so we actually aren't able to go through and take a look at that. But usually, if you do have it enabled, they'll be able to start entering in their own personal information for their registration. And then finally, we have the changeover training session volunteers link here, where you can click on, and members of the club will be able to log in, and they'll be prompted with this exact page where they can then go through and sign up for the individual shifts that they would like to sign up for. Now, with all of that said, that's pretty much everything that I did want to cover today in the events and volunteers webinar. I hope this was some great information for you guys to go through and get started creating your own events within Club Runner. So I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to pass the webinar over to my colleague Omar here, who will be taking you through a quick Q&A session, and he'll answer some questions for you all. So with that said, there you go. Here you go, Omar. It's all yours.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for the wonderful session on creating events and volunteer sign-up lists. I hope you guys got a lot of information about that on setting up the events registration and touched on the online payment accounts. I'll go into a little more detail about that as well. So you guys should see my Rotary Club of Greentown account pulled up here on the left side. I'm going to go ahead and enter the member area by clicking this member area link in the top right. There we are. So the first question I'd like to answer is Michael had gone over creating an event, and one of the fields was an event code. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the events module. So from the top blue bar, I'm going to click events here, and then event planner in the gray bar just below. There we are. So we've got the two events, and here's the changeover training session 2022 Michael had created. I'm going to go ahead and open this event. And just like Michael said over the webinar, you can always go back to the event and edit its information. And to do that, I'm going to click this edit details link. Before I go into that event code field, I do want to mention you guys can add event flyers and links to your event, which will appear on the events registration page by editing the download files, as we see here on the right side of the page, or the edit links button to include links to third-party websites as well as other pages on your club's Club Runner website. Just to quickly show you that process, I'm going to click edit download fields. And then from here, if I scroll down, I can click the orange add download file button. And as soon as I click that, a new line item will appear where we can title the flyer. So I can title event flyer, and just below I can click this choose file button. Do note there is a maximum file size of 5 MB, but I can click that choose file button and a folder explorer on my device will open where I can choose the file I'd like to include in the as part of the event, and registrants will be able to click the event flyer download file and then download a copy to their device. So if you guys have venue maps or event flyers, this would be a great place to upload them. So I'm going to go back without saving my image that I've uploaded. I want to return to this edit details page. So I'm going to click this blue edit details button. There we are. And here is the event code. If your club has an integrated online payment account, for clubs in the US, we've partnered with Paya, and for clubs in Canada, we've partnered with Bambora. So if you guys have an online payment account with one of those vendors, you can enter a code here, say changeover. I'm just going to type in a CHNGE 2022. And this code, CHNGE 2022, will appear on the virtual terminal for the online payment account. So that virtual terminal is outside of Club Runner. You'd be able to log in at the Bambora or Paya virtual terminal website to view those transactions, and transactions would include this event code to help you denote which payments are for the event or which payments are, say, for a donation campaign or invoice sent from the club's member area. Okay, I also want to answer some questions we had received live. Didi shares, do most clubs schedule their regular club meetings as events, pardon me. So some clubs do opt to create their meetings as event planner events. Another way to notify club members that the club has a meeting on a day is by setting a recurring calendar item. So from that same events module in the top blue bar, I've clicked calendar items recurring in the gray bar just below. And here we can create a calendar item which doesn't include registration for the club's website. That'll display some description text box to appear on the calendar. I guess while I'm here, let's go ahead and quickly throw one in. I'm just going to click that orange add calendar item, and let's just use our question as an example. I'll say club meeting May 27th, for example. And just below the title, I can include, say, a description for the event, our regular club meeting on May 27th. I'll keep the date out because we can set a recurrence to this where you could remove, say, the date from the title and have this calendar item recur every week. I know I received a question from Carrie that sort of loops into this. Is there a plan for sign-up lists to be linked to recurring calendar items or events? There is a way to link a sign-up list to an event planner event. There isn't a method to link a sign-up list to a calendar item, but while creating the calendar items, you can link the sign-up list into the description of the calendar item. For example, we can say sign up for the meeting responsibilities by clicking this sentence. Pardon me for the spelling error there. I'm just going to quickly fix that. Oh, there we are, missing an I. So to link this sentence to the volunteer sign-up list, we can highlight the text. I'm just going to click here, sign up for the meeting responsibilities by clicking this sentence, and then clicking the link editor tool at the top of the description box. This link dialog will appear, which you can use to link to third-party URLs, as well as any other built-in pages, custom pages, and sign-up lists that have been created in the club's database. There are also other areas like an event. So if you'd like to link to an event registration for this calendar item, you can do that. But this link tool also exists in the events description, as well as the email editor for event invitations and regular emails from the club. So do check out this link dialog. It can definitely help you link two areas together, like a calendar item with a sign-up list. So from the link dialog, I'm going to click sign-up lists. And as soon as I click that, we have this another sign-up list drop down. It looks like it's not appearing for me. I think it's because the sign-up list must be public in order to appear here so that we can link them. The other option is to copy the link from the sign-up list in the member area and then use the URL link type to link to that page in the member area. Let me show you guys exactly what that is. So I haven't linked this yet. I'm going to copy that only. It's a private sign-up list as it's not public, and we're going to link it to the sentence. So I'm not going to enter more information apart from what's required from me for here. I'm just going to enter some example, and I'll leave this as is, but we can set recurrence for this calendar item at the bottom here. If I select recurring, a dialog will appear where we can set it to recur daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, with many options such as the day in a month or every Monday, every third Monday, or so on. So definitely check out calendar items and their recurrence. I do want to come back to this, so I'm just going to leave the recurrence out. I'll leave it as one time and save this update. There we are, and our club meeting is saved, but I still need to link the sign-up list into this calendar item. To do that, I'm going to open up the volunteer sign-up list. There we are, volunteers, then view sign-up lists. And from here, I can click the sign-up list title to open up the sign-up page in the member area. And I can actually copy this link at the very top of the website browser and right click and copy. And then if I return to our calendar item, I'm going to go back to events, calendar items recurring, and then open up our club meeting for May 17th. I'm just going to go ahead and click this edit option. And now I can highlight that sentence, sign up for meeting responsibilities by clicking the sentence. I should say in the member area because it is a private sign up list. So I'm going to highlight this sentence, then click the link editor tool and paste that link that I've got. I've right clicked, I used Control V to enter the link here. I'm going to click this green OK button. And now we've linked this sentence in the calendar item to the member area sign up list. So if a member clicks it, they'll log into the website and then can sign up for their meeting responsibility. So I'm going to scroll down and save this update. And I just want to show you guys that this does appear on the club calendar. So while I'm still in the member area, to get to the home page, I'm going to right click this home link in the top right and then click open in new tab. And that keeps us in the member area while I have a new tab taking us to the home page. There we are. And from here, I can open up the calendar for the account. And if I scroll down, we see our club meeting recurring calendar item. I can click that item, and here we see the link that I've created to that member area sign up list. If I click it, it should open up the sign up list. I am an administrator, so I have access to all of these tools like managing the signups, adding groups, and so on. If a member clicks this link, their 70-member access will affect the page, and they'll only be able to open up a shift and then sign up for that shift. So I hope that helps some clubs with linking the internal member area sign up list to a calendar item so that you guys can get those signups without having to enter them or direct members to open up the sign up list. Okay, so I also want to touch on pardon me, I'm just reviewing our questions here. Okay, we're good on the live questions. I want to go over some other questions that I've prepared. So I know one of the frequent questions we get asked is how would I take an already created sign up list and assign it to an event planner event? So say you guys created a volunteer sign up list, but then didn't create it from the event, though it is related to the event. Let's go back to the sign up list page. So I'm going to go to volunteers and then view sign up lists. And then for that sign up list that's either linked to an incorrect event or completely unlinked, we would click this settings link on the actions columns here. And from here, if we scroll down, we can use this select the event drop-down option to choose the other event. So say Michael's sign-up list wasn't for the aptly titled Changeover training session event, but rather our Fish Fry Club Barbecue. I can choose that Fish Fry Club Barbecue and save the update. And now this volunteer sign-up list will appear on the Fish Fries event registration page. And I guess that's a good point. I'm going back to our calendar. So I'm going to cancel this update to the sign up list, and I'm going to go back to our club homepage. It's got that meeting address open. I'm going to go back to the calendar. If we open up the event that's created, we should see a volunteer sign up button. There it is. So if I were to open up that settings page for the event and then choose the other event, this changeover training session volunteers button on the events registration page would be removed and then added to the other event. So that's how you can change a sign up list from being assigned to one event or no event and then assign it to another event. Okay, and our last question before I let you guys go, and I know we're going over time, is how do you invite volunteers to sign up for a sign up list that's either public or member only? So let's return to the member area. So in the very top of my address bar, I'm going to click that tab that has the sign up lists open. So here we have the sign up list opened within the volunteer module. For the sign up list you're looking to send the invitations for, we'll click the name of that sign up list. So I'll click the one Michael had created here. And from this manage tasks page, we can use this email section on the left-hand side to invite people to sign up. I'm going to go ahead and click that, or you can also send an email to follow up with your volunteers about their tasks or shifts that they've signed up for. Let's click invite people to sign up. So this will take you to this list page for our changeover training volunteers list. To send a new email, I'm going to click this orange compose new message button. There we are, and it works very similar to the communication module email send, as well as the event planner emails. From the left-hand side in step 1, you can check the full contact group you're looking to email, say active and honorary members. You can also expand that group by clicking this plus icon to open up the subgroups, in this case, active, active-corporate, and honorary. And from here, if you'd like to just select, say, only your active members, I'm going to uncheck the big group and check just active. And now 13 out of 15 are selected. We can also view the individual recipients by clicking this expand link. And a similar list opens where you can uncheck or check the members you're looking to send the invitation to. On the right side, it's again similar. We've got our subject line with some merge fields already entered, like the event's name, as well as the account name. In this case, the merge field event name will use the sign up list titles name. So sign up for Changeover Training Session Volunteers. And then we can add more merge fields to the email's content box below. And we also have that same link editor tool to link to another page on the website, or say if you'd like to link to that event page that they're signing up for to volunteer for, you can link to that by clicking, well, I guess I should say first highlighting the text in the email, then clicking the link editor tool, and then choosing the link type event. And then you can select the event, in this case, Changeover Training 2022. And I've saved that link to this text following event. Okay, the very bottom here, there is a sign up button that links to the sign up page for the volunteer sign up list. And it looks like some information about the sign up list is already merge field into this volunteer sign up list email. The last step, I'm skipping ahead, but you can include attachments as well as a list of recipients so that a single recipient can see who else received the email. And the final step is to send the email right away or schedule the email to send by choosing the schedule option and then selecting the date you'd like to send out that invitation. Say you're not looking to collect volunteers right away. On Friday, you're looking to start. We'd click May 20th on Friday, and then we can also enter a time by using these arrows or just entering the time. So I'm going to enter 12 and automatically it filled in some numbers. I can press tab and that'll put me to the minutes. I can press 0, and again I can choose AM PM. If I type the letter A, it'll go AM. If I type the letter P, it'll go PM. You can also use these arrows to change the numbers for the time. So I can go to 1 PM, say 1:30. I would have to make a few clicks here. But you can use this little arrow and time selector to select your time. I prefer just entering the time myself. And the final step is this orange send button. Okay, and that's all the time we have for questions. I know we've gone about 20 minutes over. I do want to encourage you guys to check out the Club Runner knowledge base. I'm going to pull that up in one of these tabs I have loaded here. clubrunnersupport.com is our knowledge base. We have our pre-recorded videos and webinars in the videos and webinars section here. If you have any more questions about other modules in Club Runner, or you've viewed some of the information about the events and volunteers module, but still have questions, do reach out to us with this blue Contact Us button in the top right. If you click that button, a new form will load where you can enter your club, the subject, priority. I think club is a little below there. We are account name, and then you can submit your request. You can also include files or screenshots of your question or inquiry, and we can use that information to help with the request. Another item I'd like to point out is you can sign up for more training. I believe this is the last week of the training, but clubrunner.com/training will bring you to this page. I'm just going to type it in again, clubrunner.com/training, enter, and then it'll bring you to this changeover training page. If you scroll past the webinars that I've already done, the remaining last week will still have the register button. I do want to mention after our final session, after we process the recordings, this training page will also be updated with the recordings as well as the Club Runner knowledge base videos and webinars section. So I'm just going back to our home page for the knowledge base, and if I click videos and webinars, our changeover training from 2021 is uploaded, and we'll also have our 2022 training. And one last area I'd like to share with you guys is the Club Runner community website. I've opened up a new tab in my browser. I'm going to go to clubrunnercommunity.com and then press enter. There we are. So you can log into the community with the same credentials you log into your club website, by clicking this orange login button. After you've logged in, you can open up any of our boards, our forum groupings, such as the general, feedback and suggestions, best practices, and make a post, as well as review other posts customers have made. And we do monitor the threads and posts on our forum. And if you have any questions, you can message us here. Perhaps another club will share their idea on how they're tackling your inquiry, or we'll follow up if nobody else replies, or if your question should get a response, we'll be sure to reply as well. So definitely check out clubrunnercommunity.com, clubrunnersupport.com for more video and webinar demonstrations, as well as our contact us page, and then clubrunner.com for any, or clubrunner.com/training to sign up for any more changeover trainings this week, as well as the recordings after we've processed them. I'm just going to pull up all that information in a nice slide right here. Bear with me. There we are. And again, I just want to thank everybody so much for attending our Events and Volunteers webinar. I hope you took away a lot and can get your sign-up list created and events with registrations. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.